Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another session on Counselor University. My name remains Emenne Ifeanyi, and our mission at Counselor is to teach African business owners how to make their businesses more profitable, more sustainable, and world scalable. Today, basically, we are going to be looking at the mental conversation that make people to be successful in what they do, and also why it's important for us to learn how to discuss and converse with ourselves in order to achieve the things we want to achieve in business and in life. So today I want to talk about the mental conversation of the rich and powerful. What are the ways these people converse in their mind that makes them very rich and very powerful? I'll start by explaining that in every organization there are two kinds of staff. There are the available staff and there are the desirable staff. Available staff are those that once they leave, the company actually doesn't notice their difference, that their absence. There are those that anytime they leave the company, the only difference that will happen is that the HR will know that, okay, the number of people we have has reduced by one. Now, there are the other kind of staff called the desirable staff. These are staff that anytime they leave, the company will actually go out and try to find out from them why are they leaving and offer them more incentive for them to stay. And when it comes to wealth, there is a difference between having money and being wealthy. Now, when you have money, you might be running a business, for instance, and the business is making money. But that doesn't mean that the person is wealthy. Because if anything happens and that business collapses, and the person doesn't know how to regenerate the money that the business was generating before, it means that what the person had before was just money, but not wealthy. But the wealthy, no matter what happens to their current income or their current business, they can actually start afresh again. Which was why Henry Ford once said that if you take away all the assets he has now, give him maximum of 5 years, he will be as wealthy as he was at the beginning. And the things we want to share today is about what are the things that you will learn that can move you from having money to becoming wealthy. What are the things that you learn that will move you from being an available staff to a desirable staff? Fundamentally, the mental conversation you have is about what are the things going on in your mind as you're walking on the street. Is this thing that you talk to yourself that will determine how successful you are, which means you need to conduct a self-audit and listen to yourself while you're walking on the street. Listen to yourself while you're lying down on your bed. What are the kind of conversation going on in your head? Now, if these conversations are not conversations that is telling you how you can actually progress and grow in your life, it means that what you're actually going on in your head are negative conversations that are actually keeping you down. Fundamentally, the way you can improve the conversations that go on in your head is all about the companies you keep. I want to use an example of Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because a lot of people see him and feel that he's a godfather who controls things, and people feel that maybe he's doing one magic or the other. Basically, it's not so. If you study the life of Tinubu, you realize that as far back as when Abiola was running for presidency, now one of the key people who was around him was Tinubu. It means that this guy has been around people who have been at the top of political power play. And because he was with them and discusses with them all the time, he started to acquire traits of what it takes to create presidents, to create leaders. During the time of Nadeko, he was around the top people of Nadeko, and because of that, he was around those who could actually turn around a society. He understood how to play the politics of the time and day. It means for us too that for us to change how we see ourselves, the way we think, the people around us fundamentally must change. It means that the right people must be around you, the right people who are already thinking and talking about where you want to be. If you don't have these people around you so that you can engage in the kind of conversation that can help you reprogram your mindset, it will be extremely difficult for you to actually become a desirable staff, or for you to move from having money to becoming wealthy. If anybody starts to change the conversation that goes on in their mind, the quality of their life on the outside will start to change. If you that is why it's very important for each and every one of us to deliberately listen to the conversation going on in our head. And most importantly, ensure that we decide the conversation going on in our head. We need to understand that our mind is more like a field. At any particular point, if you leave a field without cultivating anything there, what happens to that field? Yeah. Grass grows everywhere. Weeds grow everywhere. That's the same way with our mind. If you leave your mind fallow, negative thoughts will dominate your mind. Thoughts of mediocrity will dominate your mind. But if on a daily basis you have a mental strategy of ensuring that the thoughts that are going on in your mind at any particular point are positive thoughts, are thoughts of how you can build yourself, then it means that you already have a roadmap to becoming successful in what you are doing. Which means, assuming for instance you are the HR officer, and every time you're asking yourself, how do I become better at my job? What are the top HR officers doing? The more you are doing this thing, the more you'll be looking out, noticing things that you've not noticed about other top HR. And the more you are acquiring skills to build yourself to becoming a top HR person. Let me give you an example. Today I wanted to buy a fire extinguisher. And as I was leaving the house, I was asking myself, where do I get a fire extinguisher? Now there was the road I normally took. I've never noticed a fire extinguisher selling point on that road. But because I was thinking about it mentally today, as I was driving, there was a stand. All they were doing was selling fire extinguishers. You attract what you think about constantly. Which means if all you've been thinking about have been negative, if you have been attracting negative things in your life, it means that all you've been thinking about have been negative things. If you have been living a mediocre life, if your life have not been progressing, it means that everything you've been thinking about up to this particular point have been mediocrity. And for you to change your life, the things you think about needs to change. Because it's the thing that you think about that you attract on the outside. Because I thought about fire extinguisher today, that was why I was able to see this man selling fire extinguisher. If you start to think about bread today, if you go around, all you start to notice people selling bread. If you start to think about how do I improve myself, you start to see things that will actually help you to grow and improve yourself. Now, it's important for us to actually ensure that the weeds of negative ideas don't take root in our mind. And how do we ensure that these weeds don't take root in our mind? You need on a daily basis, as you are walking on the street, when you are not actually doing anything, when you are not deciding what you want to think, you need to bombard your mind with the kind of conversation you want to listen to. Which means constantly on a daily basis, you need to listen to the kind of interviews of people who are already where you want to be today. Whatever you want to achieve, there are people who have already achieved it. Your job is to find those people and start to listen to the interviews they've granted. Start to listen to the talks that they've granted. If you want to be a top customer service salesperson, for instance, there are a lot of top HR executives, customer service executives, and these guys have given a lot of interviews. Your job is to find these people and make sure that you start to listen to the way they talk, the way they deliver their messages, so that you can acquire the knowledge that is in their mind, which they have put out there. You need to ensure that things that encourage you to have the right mental conversation are constantly around you. And what do I mean? They say, do you know why people watch television a lot? And actually why people watch, do social media a lot? You watch TV a lot because if you look at the position of the average television, you notice that comfortable chairs are set around it. You notice that the position of the television is such that you can comfortably sit or stand to watch it. Now, because it's easy for you now, you can comfortably sit or stand to watch a television. It means you spend more time around the television. Look at your phone, for instance. Why do you spend so much time staring at your phone? Because it takes you little effort to reach out to your phone from your pocket, put it on, and start to stare at it. All you just need is a touch, and any social media platform you want to look at is already out there for you. The same thing, you actually need to start to place around you things that will stimulate conversations that will drive your growth. I did a little experiment in my house. I wanted my children to start to read more. So what I did was I bought storybooks for them. And on their beds and in their room, I just lined up these storybooks all around. And what I noticed was that whenever they are just lying on their bed doing nothing, they will just pick up the storybook because it's just an arm length away from them. When you want to read books that will develop you, surround yourself with books. I read a lot because around my house I have placed bookshelves at strategic position that is just very easy for me to reach out and pick up the books. By my television there's a bookshelf. So it's very easy for me as I'm going to the television to just reach out and pick up a book. So it's very important for you to actually put all these stimulating factors around you such that getting the right conversation started in your mind is just an arm length away from you. So look at your environment. How is it structured? Is it structured to activate the right conversation? For you to actually get the right conversation going on in your mind, you need to actually make it easy for you to be around those who are already doing what you are doing. It means you must find somebody who has achieved what you want to achieve and be around that person. There's a huge difference from what you listen to and from what you see somebody do. No matter how many seminars you attend, no matter how many courses you take, if you don't see somebody who is practically doing what you want to do, what you have in your head is just theory. It's more like somebody can go to school to read about football. The person can know everything about football just by reading it. But it doesn't mean that if the person goes out there, the person can play football. The best way for the person to know how to play football is for the person to go out there into the field. Which is why for you guys, I'm every day deliberately sending you guys out there to meet these top business owners, interact with them. So that not only are you working with them, but you actually see how they are thinking, see how they are running their business. And that way you are actually practically gaining the skills and knowledge. And those things you've been hearing on the audio messages you've been listening, the seminars you've been attending, you can actually now make them concrete in your mind and see that you can actually achieve these things that these people are achieving. Which is why you must actually interact on one-on-one basis with people who have actually achieved what you want to achieve. Doing it by just reading and listening to videos will not give you the change you desire to get in your life. Most importantly too, you must be around those that your mind has to be open to pick up the information that they are dropping. What I found strange is that a lot of people who are around wealthy people, they are not there to learn. Most of them are there just to maybe admire the environment, or they are just seeking for what they want to gain from these guys who are successful. But if you are around those guys who are successful and you have a mindset to tell yourself, what can I learn from this person today? You find out that you are actually moving from having money to becoming wealthy. You are moving from being an average worker to a desirable worker. But if you are not tuned to pick up those drops of information that they are dropping when you are in the environment, you find out that from day to day you are just where you are. Now, you also need to understand that what you tolerate will never change in your life. People are poor because they tolerate poverty. I always give this example. There was when I was still in the university, there used to be this lady that I used to go to their house to spend some time. And one day she noticed her daughter wearing a shirt that was half top, showing her belly, and she rebuked the young girl to go and take off that shirt. Now, with time, the girl went in, took off the shirt and changed another one. But I noticed that after about a month when I went there, I saw one of the girls wearing the dress and subsequently decided to wear it. Now, because subsequently the mother saw it the second time and tolerated it, it became a habit and acceptable norm to wear that kind of dress in her house. People are poor because they have learned to tolerate poverty. The day any poor man decides to say to himself, I'm sick and tired of poverty, that man will start to seek for resources, for ways to actually get out of poverty. And anything that keeps them around poverty, that person will repel it. And when they hate those things that make them poor, you find out that once their mind has started to look out for those things that will make them rich, within a space of maximum 7 years, anybody can crawl out of poverty. But people remain in poverty because they tolerate those things that make them poor, and they've accepted it, and they are not willing to change their mindset. It means that if you are poor, the conversation that will be going in your mind is, well, things are hard, the economy is bad. But the moment you tell yourself that I don't want to tolerate poverty anymore, you will no longer listen to those mental conversations that things are hard. You'll be having a conversation like, if this person can make it, I must find how to make it. If this company is growing in this economy, I must find how to grow in this economy. If people are getting promotion in this economy, I must learn how to get my own promotion in this economy. And what happens is that the conversation that goes on in your mind suddenly starts to change. It won't be the same conversation that was going about in your mind again when you were actually tolerating poverty. If you decide to hate poverty today, it will run away from you. If you decide to hate mediocrity on the job from today, it will run away from you. But if you are mediocre on your job, if you are mediocre in whatever you are doing, it's because you have tolerated and accepted it, and you will remain at that point. So in conclusion, I want us to actually start to watch the mental conversation that is going on in our head. As you're walking on the street, what is the music that your subconscious mind is playing for you over and over again? What is it telling you? Is it telling you, are you talking to yourself about how you can become more successful? Are you talking to yourself about how you can make this week better than last week? Are you talking to yourself about how tomorrow, how next week, how next month will actually be better for you than this month? Are you asking yourself, what plans do I need to put in place to actually make sure that I do my job better tomorrow than I'm doing it today? One of the things I found out with a lot of employees, is that it's the same skill set that they have when they were employed that they still have 5-10 years down the line. And all they are doing is just going in a circle. And they fail to ask themselves, why is our life not changing? Your life can only change based on the mental conversation going on in your head. Most importantly, start to do it now. Don't wait till tomorrow to start. If you start today, by tomorrow you can start to have a better life. Now, why I'm also pushing it for us is that, the success of any organization is a sum total of the success of the individual staff that make up the organization. If we have 3 or 4 very active people who say we want our life to be better tomorrow than it is today, that will rub off on the company. But if we have only one person who say, I want my life to be better tomorrow than it is today, there's no way the weight of one person can carry the organization. So it's important for all of us here to always tell ourselves, how do I get better on my job today so that by tomorrow I can get a better result? Because when we don't tell ourselves these things, then we can only achieve as much tomorrow as we've achieved today. Because you can't expect better results. It's more like you want your computer to do a better job for you using an outdated software. If you want your computer to do better, you must update the software. If you want to be better at your job, you must update the software in your mind. A lot of us are running on outdated software, and those things have to change. So from today, I want us to start to improve. I want to see better outcome from us. I want to, when we go out, and I also want to appreciate us. We've been getting some good feedback. OJ, for instance, has been very happy with what we do for them. Same thing with Cosfarmer and other clients too. But this thing can only get better when we decide to get better at what we are doing. So that if we send you tomorrow to, let's say, Watusim, when they see you talk to them tomorrow, you say, wow, the conversation we had with this lady yesterday is far better. What we're having with her today is far better than what we had with her yesterday. And when you come tomorrow, they'll say, wow, what you're telling us today is far better than what you've told us before. And the only way we can do that is when we keep on constantly improving the software that is running in our mind. And it's this software that will determine the conversation we have. And it's this conversation that we have with ourselves that will determine what we do on the outside. So guys, I want each and every one of us to improve. Now, for those of us watching the video who would like to join our weekly sessions, you can reach us on any of the phone numbers that will be coming up on this video, and also contact us. And if for those who are also having some business challenges, we are there to actually help you get out of the business challenges you are having. Reach out to us, send us a message, send us a WhatsApp message on any of our social media platforms. Counselor University is our handle. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and send us a message, and we'll be glad to help you make your business more profitable and sustainable. We want to know what your goal for this year is. For us at Counselor, our goal for this year is to acquire 50 acres of land where we'll build our Southeast campus, because we want to send our message across the world to show people that Africans can actually build profitable and sustainable business. Thank you for listening to us, and see you later.